I'm Jean Rochat. I'm born and raised in Lausanne, which for an EHL alumni is nowadays quite rare. I've graduated from EHL in 2019. I've been then, after graduation, working for EHLsmile during a while. And then after that I moved to Sweden to do my master's there. And since then I've stayed in the north. I'm still based in Sweden, and now I work in Copenhagen as a consultant. At the time I was already interested in sustainability, because now I'm still working in that field, and I thought it was really good idea to actually maybe do something meaningful after graduation. So I was based in India, in a place called Bodh Gaya. It's in northeast India, in a state called Bihar that is very underdeveloped. It's one of the least developed states in India. It's still very rural. The demographic transition has not happened yet there. And I was based in the Bodh Gaya Hotel School. So it was a hotel school in the little village of Bodh Gaya, which is a very famous place for Buddhists, because it's one of the 7 pilgrimage sites Buddhists have to go to during their life if they want to achieve fullness, so to say. It's really hard to say, because I was basically touching a bit of everything. So the goal of my mission was both to do an audit of the school, because we need to keep track on, you know, how they are using the funds they receive, and also how the different projects are going on. One of the things we had to work on was to rethink the whole F&B experience, because at the time it was very basic. There was still plastic chairs and plastic tables in the restaurant. They were serving only one type of meal, so it was really basic, and we thought that that could actually really enhance the experience of the guests, to actually have more to taste and more to do in the restaurant, and also that the restaurant looks a bit more professional. So that's one of the main things we worked on. And the other one was just the regular audit, so checking on the teachers that they follow the programs that we have developed, attending classes to see, you know, how they pedagogically, like how they apply the EHLsmile model. And I think the last thing that I was doing, and it was much more hands-on, was just about sharing my own hospitality knowledge with the students of the school, because it was exactly like EHL. The goal is exactly the same. It's vocational training, so you have students all across the place, in the kitchen, in the housekeeping, in the restaurant, and obviously they do mistakes, and obviously they need to learn. So the last thing that I was doing, and probably that's the thing I was doing the most actually, was actually giving them feedback and advices and sharing my experience. I've worked abroad quite a lot. I did one of my internships in Zanzibar, so I think the thing that was the hardest, and it's always the hardest when you work abroad, is the cultural gap. Especially in India, where the local culture is very strong, and especially in that area that is also more preserved. Obviously, my Western perspective sometimes was clashing with their perspective, which is fair. It's a normal thing. That was sometimes making the dialogue with the different stakeholders in the hotel a bit challenging, but at the same time, it's also the nicest learning actually that I got from it, because clearly for example, the fact that, you know, in India there's still some remains from the different social classes, from the castes, even though it's supposed not to exist, but in a matter of fact, in Bihar it was still very present. So sometimes the dialogue between the people, not necessarily with me, but between them, was sometimes very challenging. So it was really about trying to, you know, soften the different point of views and trying to help them communicate better and understand each other better. I mean, it contributed a lot. First of all, I think there was this whole thing about the cultural gap, because in EHL you just mixed with people from different cultures. You need to work with them, you need to learn different ways of working, and I think clearly one of the things I got back from that is this way of, you know, learning to position myself in a humble way. I think EHL teaches you to be humble, confident but humble, and clearly I think that helped, because if you don't put yourself in a humble posture, people will not respect you. So I think that helped a lot. The other thing that helped a lot is the fact that you touch a bit of everything at EHL. One day you do stewarding, the other day you're making croissant and pain au chocolat. You need to be flexible, and you need to not be afraid to do things you never did, and just get along with it and move on. I think that was also something that helped me quite a lot from the EHL culture. There's many stories. I think a really funny story was that, so Isabel, that you interviewed already, she joined me after a while, and I had the idea to have her bring Swiss cheese and chocolate, so that we could make a tasting with the students. And I think that's my most memorable time. The tasting we made was the funniest thing I have ever seen. Fat and salt are not taste they are used to. They are rather used to spices. It was really, really fun to see the students' reaction when they tasted the cheese, because they were finding it disgusting, while us in Switzerland, we just love it. So it was a really nice moment of exchange. Same thing for the chocolates. Like, yeah, milk chocolate is not something they were really aware of. It was a lot of fun. I think it's one of my best memories, actually. The most bizarre thing, I mean, you know, it's just rural India, so sometimes things that seem very simple become very complicated. Like, they had the idea to put a lift in the hotel, but the climate makes that, you know, everything rusts, everything gets degraded super fast. And so I think I've seen this elevator working maybe 5 days in the whole stay I spent. Like, I think probably the guy that I've seen the most is actually the guy that was supposed to repair the elevator. Sometimes you have, you know, those things that seem very simple and very easy here, in other countries can become a nightmare. Like, I cannot recall the number of times some people got stuck in that elevator. That's something I remember. Yeah, this one is easy. After graduation, the goal was to place students for either full-time jobs or internship if we were not managing to find them a full-time job. And one of the things I did is to go around to see the former students that graduated in the previous years and to see, you know, how they evolved. And I remember that one student, Ashish, that was a housekeeper in Kolkata in a wonderful hotel, 5-star hotel, super nice. And I went to visit him, and I could really see, you know, like the impact that we were doing. Because that guy was providing for his whole family. They were a family of 10, and his single salary was providing for the whole family, because his parents were farmers. He was the firstborn, so they basically invested in everything into him, so that then he could provide for the family. And it was really wonderful to see him evolve in that hotel. He was so confident, he was so happy. It was just super nice, and they actually made a very nice, the Hyatt chain that the hotel belonged to, made a wonderful video where he was talking about this experience and how grateful he was to actually have had that training and that opportunity. And there's many stories like that, but this one is very touching because I was able to meet with him. Obviously there was the language barrier, but I could also see that he had, you know, improved a lot his English in comparison to the students I had at the school. So it was really wonderful, super nice. I think for me it's just gave me the taste of sustainability. I mean, nowadays I'm a sustainability consultant, and there's a lot of times I think back about it and I'm like, okay, you need purpose in what you do. You need to find meaningfulness in what you do, and I think that's the main learning I got from that experience. At least for me, if I want to be happy in my work, it has to be meaningful. It cannot be meaningless. I think I was expecting a cultural shock First of all, I had the chance to talk with previous volunteers, so that really helped also, you know, leveling up my expectations, sort of. You hear a lot about India. When people that go always say that you have a shock. So I was expecting that. I had it, clearly. And it's something that is a bit hard to describe because you just arrive in New Delhi. It's massive, especially, I mean, I'm born and raised in Switzerland, so I'm not used to big cities at all. And you just arrive in New Delhi, there's all this noise, there's all those colors, those smells, like everything is so different from what you know. And yeah, you just get this massive shock of stimulations, and that, yeah, you just have to absorb, and it takes a lot of time. And then linked to that, there's just the cultural shock of the way of working, because obviously the way of working in India is not the way you work in Western Europe. That's the main thing I had built expectations around, and clearly I was not disappointed. It was just so nice to get that completely different perspective on work, on life. The people have been welcoming me as if I was part of the family from day one. They made everything so that I feel welcome. The people from the local NGO we were collaborating with, Agragami, they were wonderful. They take me all around Bihar on their projects to show me what they were doing. And I think what was super nice, and this I didn't expect, is that the people in that local association, they were super dedicated to the projects. Like, they were really doing it like if it was for their own families. Sometimes when you work in the NGO sector, you can face people that just work as admin people. They're not really hands-on. They don't want to get very involved in the field. And here what was nice is that the same people that were in the offices running the associations were also the ones going in the field, talking with the farmers, talking with the local population, fixing the things. You could really feel that the whole organization was supportive. Yeah, we celebrated. It was super nice. They cooked food and we listened to music. It was really a really nice time. They covered me with gifts. It was also a bit sad, obviously, but I'm still in touch with some of them. I'm still in touch with the former director. He was super kind to me at the time. He was inviting me from time to time to eat at his place, play with his kids. So yeah, it was really touching because, I mean, we had spent 9 months together, we worked on a lot of things. Obviously, as things go always slower than you expect when you do that type of job, we didn't have the chance to achieve everything we wanted to. It was a really, really nice moment. And students were super sad, like it was really heartbreaking because they really got attached to us, and yeah, it was just too nice.